if you're not there yet, take small actions to become more outcome independent.
Hey guys, Delisha Ivins here, and today I'm here on behalf of Mike Shreve and the No Pants Project with James Melling, who is joining us from far, far away, overseas, far away. James, where are you joining us from today?
I'm joining you from the not so sunny, well, it's actually okay today, but often not so sunny place of Kendal in the north of England.
Oh wow. Wow. So what's the temperature like over there? Is it like it's kind of overcast from the window I can tell?
Yeah, it's definitely under 10 degrees centigrade, so sorry, Celsius. And yeah, I've got 2 pairs of socks on and a thermal fleece on.
That sounds really chilly. I'm not even gonna try to convert that in my head. That sounds really cool. So, James, you are part of the Six Figure Writer. Am I correct in that?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And that's a new course that Mike has recently rolled out. And tell me a little bit about what it is that you do for your clients.
Okay, so I spend most of my time now helping my clients with emails. So that can be anything from like pre-arranged sequences to things like fixed events, so things that are more timely, and then other things like daily emails and stuff like that. But yeah, mostly focused around helping people with emails and helping them sell the stuff through email.
Nice. Okay, so you're doing like the automated sequences, and then yeah, even just taking over the dailies, which I mean, for a lot of business owners can be, it's a huge way to increase profit, but it's it takes time. So to be able to take that off of them, I'm sure that's a big relief for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anyone who owns their own business will know that time is probably one of your most valuable assets. So to have someone come in and still make the sales, yeah, it helps them so much.
Nice. So how are you enjoying freelancing so far? I mean, you look like you're even a bit chilly, but you're sitting inside your nice, warm, hopefully home.
Yeah, it's great. I think for me now, and I know it's not for everyone, but I do have a bit of an issue with people telling me what to do. So in my old job, I really didn't like it when people would turn to me and say, "Oh, just do this," and I'd be like, "Well, why can't you do it?" So getting away from all that has been great. But yeah, working day to day. I mean, I'll be honest, I do work more now than when I did in my job, but I'm fine with that because I enjoy what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I'm doing, and the things that you hear from your clients, how you're helping them, and just the reactions you get from them. Yeah, I think it makes it a lot, just so much more worth it, really.
Most definitely. Yeah, I think for a lot of freelancers, just control over their day is a big thing. And then being able to choose like who you work for and what kind of projects you're working on. When work becomes play, it doesn't, it's not such a big deal if you want to work a little bit more. So that's pretty cool that you're getting to do that. So tell me some of the goals that you have with freelancing. I know that you've recently started with the six-figure writer course. Tell me about like some of your, 1-year goals, your 5-year goals, or kind of even just personal goals of what you want to do with your business.
Yeah, sure. So going back to the authority thing, as a kid, my parents told me a story about one of their friends who lost a lot of money in the stock market, and given my issues with authority, I obviously didn't listen to them whatsoever. So my plans really are using sort of freelancing to generate money with longer term goals of making, I think my goal is around $1 million in 10 years, but that's mostly through investment. So I'm not going to be relying on that just to freelancing, sorry, just to make the 1 million. But using different investment vehicles, I've gone down to the nth detail with it and planned it all out. So that's me personally. It's not a very interesting thing to walk through, so I won't bore you with that. But that's super long term. And I think that's, for me personally, how things work. Sort of start long term, filter back down. So I know that from a year from now, I want to be making around 10,000 a month minimum, with the idea that given a certain amount being reinvested, I'm on my way to that 10-year goal. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what it is.
Very nice. So you're looking at about $10,000 in revenue is kind of the goal right now, which will definitely get you to six figures, and then just reinvesting a percentage of that. And yeah, you've already done all the research, but diversify that portfolio. I don't know what the real estate market is like over there, but over here it's awesome.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about what was life like before the six-figure writer? Were you writing? Were you freelancing before you found this course?
So I studied 4 years at university a while back as a mechanical engineer. Did put the time in, got my degree, and I never really felt anything out of that. But that's what I knew, so I stuck at it. Went to my first job, and I just didn't enjoy it. It was all about sort of getting your head down, doing the calculations, making the numbers work, and then from there, you've completed the work for the day and you go home. There wasn't too much. Yeah, there was social. There was nice people there, just like most jobs, but most of what you were doing didn't really seem to have an impact or an effect in any way, or you didn't see the end goal. So that was like my first sort of niggling little thing that was just like, something needs to change. So at that point in time, I started looking around on the internet. What can I do to change things? And after like a long series of learning different things, like programming and stuff like that, which I don't really use, although it's useful, I don't really use anymore. I stumbled across copywriting, and I'll be honest, I've spent quite a bit of money on copywriting courses. So that's email, long form copy, webinars and such. And the thing is, none of them really spell it out like the six-figure writer. And I'm not the sort of person that just say that. I promise you, I'm not. There is no course, to my knowledge, that will take you from not knowing that much about writing. I mean, I think you need to know English at least, but from there, you're pretty much good to go. There was so much missing from a lot of other stuff out there. And it's mostly to do with getting clients, and that's a big part of the six-figure writer. The fast client getting workshop stuff, that, I mean, it took me a month and I had my first client. So if that doesn't speak for how it can work, I don't know what does. But life before was very much try this thing. If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board. And for quite a while, I was doing a lot of free work. So I was going to businesses in the local area, doing Facebook ad stuff, like emails, stuff like that. And after a while, you start saying, okay, well, I've probably done enough free work, and that's more about just proving to yourself that it can actually work and you can actually do it. From there, started looking for, paid work, and that's when it really just got tough. So I think that's when I turned, I heard about the six-figure writer, the support that you can get in there. That was a really big thing. Everyone has questions. It doesn't matter how thorough your course is, everyone has questions. So hearing that support was in there, that was a really big deal breaker for me. Sorry, I've probably gone way off the question you asked.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
What I wanted to say.
So when you started doing the paid work, were you using like the bid sites and stuff like that to try to get paid work? Like I know a lot of freelancers kind of do.
Yeah, I think Mike puts it the best way. You sort of do commoditize yourself when you go on those platforms, and there is the aspect of fishing where the fish are. So putting yourself in front of people that are looking for these sort of services, but it's so difficult. It really is. And I spent a long time, and I couldn't even get my profile on Upwork because there was a lot of people claiming they were a copywriter, and I think Upwork has different business goals now. So I couldn't even get stuff on there. I went to places like Freelancer. I got really small gigs there, like really, really small, like not worth the time that I put in. So, that's sort of why I turned to it. It was mostly the support aspect of the six-figure writer that really, kicked me off the fence, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the coaches in that program are amazing.
Yes, yeah.
Tell me, you'd already tried a bunch of other courses before Six-Figure Writer. So how was your confidence going into Six-Figure Writer? Were you just like, oh man, I'm just gonna put some money on this and see if it works? Or were you already confident of your skills or confident of yourself?
So I think it's probably something Mike's already said, but there's a lot to be said about outcome independence. So I was never really that concerned about sending an email out or sending a proposal to someone. I mean, I was concerned about helping someone, and if they wanted my help, providing that help to them, but never really that concerned about whether things would go wrong. So with the background information I had from studying a lot of copy and going through other programs, I was quite confident in my ability to write and the work I'd done. I knew I could do it, but I knew there was something I was missing in terms of a process from going from nothing to paid work. So when I heard it all laid out in front of me, this is the plan, this is where you'll go from 0 to a six-figure writer, I was like, cool, that sounds awesome. But again, when I heard that there was support there, I was just like, yeah, it's a no-brainer. So yeah, I was confident in the entire process. I think the guarantee as well, as anybody who's interested in copy, you'll know a good guarantee is something that can really convince someone. So that idea, you've got 90 days to make it, and if you don't even get anything out of it, you will get your money back. That was a big one for me as well. Just confidence again. Like gave me a lot of confidence in the program. So
nice. So that guarantee with that was you have 90 days to kind of do the work and to get results.
Yeah, that was the guarantee. So you'd be given this entire like game plan in front of you. You had 90 days to get it, like work through it and make money from it, basically. Obviously you had to show that you were doing some work. If you action oriented guarantee, but for me it's already paid itself off. So it's already paid my investment off. So
nice.
Yeah, I think, in terms of going back to what you were saying about confidence going into the program, I think some people do get caught up on the idea that you need to be like some like copywriting killer or have this like huge depth of knowledge. You really don't, because a lot of the time you'll spend is getting those people to pay attention to you and actually say, yes, I need help from you. If they've already agreed to that help, that's when you can start paying attention to what copy you need to write. And if you go in with an open mind that, yeah, I might need to improve at some point, but I've got this wealth of templates from Mike and the team, and you've got people in the group that will review your copy for you and say, okay, you might need to tweak this, or this isn't what you're actually trying to say, sort of thing. Like that's what gives you real confidence, I think. And yeah, I think it's not something you should be afraid of if you don't really know how to write copy. I think it's just trust that there is a well-defined process there, and there's people to support you when you need it.
Nice. Yeah, and I think you mentioned too the fast client getting workshop. So we're going to delve into that a little bit. So for those who are watching, the fast client getting workshop is actually a separate module. It's a separate training that you can purchase on how to get clients quickly, especially if you're just starting out or if you just need to fill a pipeline. But it's included with the training for the six-figure writer. So if you want to be a writer and that's where you want to go, that's where you want to push, it kind of fills in that gap of, yeah, like James was saying, like how to go from like, okay, I know I want to be a writer, I want to get paid, to now I'm actually getting paid. So tell me a little bit about that, James. You said you got your first client within 1 month of using that process.
Yeah. So 1 month, I think it's about 100 and something emails. So there is work that needs to be put in, absolutely. But I don't mind if I can send out 100 and something emails, which for me is, maybe 10 emails a day, or 14 emails a day over 10 days. I'm happy with that. I mean, that's got a good ROI for me. So yeah, it took me just, well, it's just under 1 month actually, but a month sounds nice. So
Nice round number. So when did you start the six-figure writer program? Like, do you remember what month that was?
September, I think.
Okay. So you got your first client within about a month of starting the fast client getting workshop part. How many clients have you worked with now through using the six-figure writer course?
So through the six-figure writer, I'm still with the one client, but I have two people that I'm very close to. It's just agreeing, finalizing things basically.
Nice.
But yeah, more work to come.
Nice. Have you like sent out a lot of proposals and things since you've started that process? Or are you finding that you're closing easier without doing a lot of proposals?
So in terms of proposals, and normally most of what I'll do is get someone on the call, identify the problem, and it's only once we've sort of agreed that, yeah, this is the best direction to go forward, that something in writing will be sent across. For me, writing a proposal is not really something I enjoy doing. It's a bit dull, so the less of them I have to do, the less I'll send out. If I can't think of anything on the call, I'll just openly say, look, I'm going to go away and think about this. I've sent out a few of those, so they'll either be videos or just quick emails outlining, but saying, look, let's get back on the phone and talk about it. So I'm always trying to get people back on the phone, because I think it's a lot easier to talk face to face with people, and that, so if they do have any doubts or objections, just handling them there and then.
I agree with you there. I mean, and especially if you can do like even video calls or even a phone call, like being able to hear the inflection of someone's voice can tell you a lot about where they're coming from and how to kind of help them move past that or whatever their question is and answer it.
Yeah.
So with the six-figure writer and kind of getting up and running, what were some of the struggles? Did you have any struggles like when you were working through the program or part that you didn't understand or you kind of got stuck?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was um, a lot of it was like doubt, and but maybe it's not doubt. It's probably more just perfectionism, just getting in the way. So one of the things is crafting how you send those emails out to people. There's like a specific way that you want to put them. Just getting caught up on stuff like that. Like, is this the right email to send? Am I sending it to the right people? If you just send an email, you'll soon learn whether it's the right thing. You'll soon learn whether they are the right people. And I think that pursuit for everything being perfect and in place before going is something that can really hold you back. So I think those sort of things are the main struggles. Now I just send them. I'm not really that. It sounds bad. And in doing so, I have made a few spelling mistakes or completely missed somebody's name, which some people get wound up about. Some people find it funny and they understand, if they're a busy person and understand that, you do make the odd mistake every now and then. But yeah, those sort of things. I think I don't want to sound like arrogant when I say this, but I don't. I have like quite a high level of confidence in myself, so maybe that's like misguided at times. But I don't mind like reaching out to people, saying hello, getting them on the phone, that sort of thing. So it was stuff like perfectionism that got in the way when it came to struggling with stuff. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. Do you think, because I'm familiar with like the Fast Client getting workshop and stuff, I've used it, it's great. Do you think that the discovery call script in there, things like that, helped you kind of get past that? Like you said, you're already pretty comfortable getting people on the phone and stuff. Were the templates and stuff like that helpful in helping you stay on track and kind of move the prospect, from curious to kind of moving them toward getting ready to close or getting ready, to see if they were a good fit for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things, obviously, that perfectionism issue is, especially when it comes to calls and interactions, you sort of saying you're concerned. Am I saying the right thing? What I'm saying going to lead to another call? Is it going to scare the person off? Those sort of things. So those templates, yeah, knowing what someone who makes, a lot of money and other people who make a lot of money using the same method say and do on a call, and even the same, with the emails that you send out, what they say and do there and then, is really helpful. You sort of, for someone like me, it gives me an idea of like, okay, and maybe I don't need to put all this effort into one email, or okay, there's something I missed out, or okay, these can be things I can just send off pretty quickly. Yeah, it really helps a lot. And again, the support you get from the team. So with my first client, I got on the phone with them, asked them the questions, and to be honest, I had an idea, but I didn't know if it was the right idea. And again, that was that perfectionism cropping up, saying, "Oh, is this the perfect idea?" Took it back to the group, said, "Look, what do you think?" And I think it was Peter. I'm not going to embarrass myself and try and say his surname. I'll never get it right. He told me, "Oh, you just want to do this." Did it. The client was really happy with it, and when they heard about the idea in the first place, they were really receptive to it. So yeah, everything in there is just, it really does help, regardless of what your state of mind is. If you struggle with things like perfectionism like me, then you just move through it and say, well, this is what works. Don't try and change it. Just do it.
So you've mentioned the coaching aspect of the group a couple of times now. Would you say that's like one of your favorite parts of the Six-Figure Writer course?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going through a lot of courses, like I said, I had, there's a lot of things that I'd already got a sort of grasp on, but it doesn't really matter where you are. You're always going to have questions. You're always going to have like small doubts that you just want addressed. You've always got things like, is this email, is it just even correct? Not correct, but is it even in the right direction? So that sort of support is great. But then you've also got them sharing information that you maybe wouldn't have thought of, which, you're like, oh, okay, right, that's like that. And so, those sort of things you don't expect to happen. And they're also a really friendly bunch as well. So you can have a joke with them. You can speak to them. I'm not going to say less professionally, because it's not like super professional in there. No one's like, keeping like dotting the I's and crossing the T's. It's laid back but incredibly helpful. And yeah, just testament to the guys and girls in there that are part of that support team, that they know what they're doing and they definitely know how to help you.
Oh, I know they're going to love hearing that. So what about, your confidence in your future now? Like, as far as you've already, made some pretty big goals, 1 million in 10 years, and even, hitting six figures, making $10,000 a month, in this next year. It seems like you're pretty confident in your skill set and what you've learned through the Six-Figure Writer as far as getting clients to kind of get you there.
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned is just it is the process that you follow that's going to make the difference. So I know, obviously, with the goals that I have, I've still got a lot to do. I'm not at that target that I want to get to yet, but I've got a year to go. So maybe that's too long. If you sort of set yourself a long goal, you'll expand it to the point that it reaches that goal. So maybe that needs chopping in half or something. But
Maybe.
I think one thing is, now I don't beat myself up too much about things being like perfect. Emails, did a conversation go really well? That sort of experience is great. There's a quote by, I think it's Robert Collier. It's like, the success is like the sum of small efforts every day, repeated day in, day out, something like that. I'm probably doing it a real injustice, but it is just about turning up. I remember when I first started everything, I felt like I was so far behind, and I had so much to do that if I didn't stay till like 10:30, 11 working after coming home, working 8:30 till 5:30, I'd just be like, oh, you haven't done anything, you're not making any progress. But now I'm just I'm less focused on, constantly doing something, but more making persistent effort towards a long-term goal. And I know that's sort of laid out in the Six-Figure Writer. I don't want to give too much away, but there is this, I think Mike calls it a battle plan. He lays out, what the first 3 months are going to look like, and you can sort of build things around that. And he even tells you what your expectations should be. So, you're not in the dark about, oh, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? Am I on target for all this? So, yeah, I think in terms of confidence, yeah, quietly confident. I'm not running outside and shouting about it, but I think in the long term, things are going to be a lot better. Yeah.
Definitely. So, as a writer and a six-figure student, Can you tell other writers who are maybe watching this right now, maybe like your top 3 tips or something fun that they can use in their life right now to help them overcome an obstacle that is keeping them from writing for clients, or maybe keeping them from getting clients, or holding them back?
Top three. I think the first one is embrace outcome independence. So, just turn up, do what you say you're going to do. And if that doesn't work out, that's okay. If it does work out, it's good and it works. That's great. Don't let what you see all over the internet and this whole. I'm not a big fan of the whole like grind till whatever time in the morning or sort of mantra. I don't agree with it. I think there's smarter ways to work. And it can, if you think that's the only way to work, you can really beat yourself up if you don't turn up, and you burn out, and then you've got stress, and it's not what this should all be about. You should enjoy what you're doing, and it should, you do provide a lot of value in what you're doing. So first, embrace outcome independence. 2, set goals. I can't speak to that enough. If you don't set goals, you have no idea if you're getting better or worse. So for me, I set goals of sending a certain number of outreach emails, spending time on certain things. So not like, okay, write an article, one article today, because then you're like, what do I write about? How long does it need to be? All that sort of thing. Instead, I just say, okay, spend 30 minutes to an hour writing an article. That's it, that's done. I'll move away from that and move on to the next thing. And long term as well, I've already said what my goal is. So it's working backwards from there and working out what I have to do. And all of that makes it so I don't feel lost in what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm just sitting at my computer thinking, what's next? So set goals. Top 3. I'd say the last one would be, I guess it's still outcome independence, but if you're not there yet, take small actions to become more outcome independent. There's a really big, and it seems like bizarre, but there's a big thing in taking actions that you would expect your future self to do. So by that I mean, go talk to people, and if you're nervous, start with family and friends. Talk to people, ask them what the problems are, really listen. Don't think about anything else in your head whilst you are listening to them, and keep asking why till they can't tell you anymore. Suggest a solution, and don't be worried if that isn't the right one. It's outcome independence. Start putting stuff out there. I know for me, when I was first starting, I was terrified of what people would think if I put something on LinkedIn that they didn't know me for as a person. Now I just write and then press publish, and I think so. No one's going to care in like 30 minutes after they've read it, if that's anything. So take small actions to become outcome independent, and then I think that'll pay off a lot more in the long term. So I think that's 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking about what you said, which is pretty funny. That like you write an article on LinkedIn, just click publish, and no one's gonna care in like 30 minutes. And I think like part of that just kind of harkens back to that whole like perfectionism thing, where we feel like we have to do it right, and we have to make sure we're getting the message right to the right audience. And what if we don't write it the right way, or what if we have a spelling error or whatever? But I think, yeah, like people move so fast on the internet. Like we take content and we take things like that, and we skim them and we skim them, and we look for like the chunks or the nuggets that stick out to us. And we just kind of like tuck it away in our brain. And then later, it might take even a couple of pieces of content. It might even take like a couple of articles that you publish for one of your like prospects to be like, oh, this guy keeps publishing really good stuff. So yeah, I'm going to contact him. Like, don't freak out about trying to make it perfect or making sure that you word everything, exactly this right way. Like, it's more important. In the No Pants project, we kind of have a saying, it's, getting it out there is better than perfect, or done is better than perfect. Like, it's better to get something out there so you can actually see the results from it and find out if it worked, than to like hold off and try to perfect something because everybody else is creating while you're waiting on being perfect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe I should say it's not that nobody will care. The right person will care, but it's not about speaking to those thousands of other people that won't care, because I promise you, and you'll have done it yourself, you won't even give it 5 seconds. You'll just scroll right past it, or like I said, it'll be away in 30 minutes. You'll be on to the next thing. So it's not that people won't care. It's that the people that it doesn't matter to, it won't bother them. So why care about it yourself?
Right on. So if you could time travel back to before Six Figure Writer, when you were taking all these other really fun writing courses and things like that, and just kind of give yourself like a word of wisdom or a bit of encouragement or some kind of direction, what would you say to yourself?
I'd probably say Google the words "No Pants Project" or "My Trees." It was quite serendipitous the way it all came about. I saw the ad once in probably about 9 or 10 months of on this like entire process of trying to change things around. It just popped up, and it is how to become an email copywriter, something along those lines. And at the time, I'd made a decision. Yeah, I'm just going to write emails. It's the best way to get into this whole thing for me. If I hadn't clicked on that, I'd have never found this, and I don't think I'd be where I am right now. The person I'm working with wants to pay me good money, enough that I don't need to work at my old job anymore. So for me, that's a big thing. I wanted to get away from that job for quite a while. So yeah, if I had to wind the clock back, go back, search Google. Maybe that's a bit of a really specific and like non-applicable answer, but I guess what I'm trying to say is pay attention to Mike and the No Pants team, because they do know how to get you from where you are to where you want to be, if that's what you want.
So you said that the client you're working with now, that you're doing well enough that you don't have to work your other job anymore. So are you like moving toward full-time writing now, or have you already put in a notice?
So it's an interesting thing, actually. I was going to move to Canada, and I made that decision in January, the start
Why
of this
move
year.
from one cold place to another? That's all my only question.
Just got to keep it familiar, I guess. Yeah, I made that decision, and I was going to go with friends, and it's going to sound a bit soppy, but I met a girl, and I decided to stay around in UK and work things out with her, and which is going great. And I'd already handed my notice in around I can't remember now. I think it was September, the back end of September. So I was going at this while still at work, but I'd got that first client, and I just said to myself, okay, just go for it. Obviously, I could have turned around and said, no, it's fine, and don't stop your job. You still need that financial support, but I sort of just said to myself, look, just make it happen and go for it. And I know for some people that's not the right thing. I'm 27. I don't have like huge commitments in terms of family. I rent where I live, so for me it was a bit easier to say that, and I understand that there are a lot of people where it's not as easy. But yeah, just going back to it all, I guess you can do it if as just take the process and run with it. And I don't think it won't fail you. Well, it didn't fail me, so I can only speak from experience.
That's awesome. Well, I want to say it's been super fun interviewing you and just kind of learning about your story and your journey through the six-figure writer. And I think it's going to be really helpful to a lot of people who are curious about the course, or they're thinking about it and they're trying to figure out, like, is it right for me? How much coaching is there really? Like, how effective are these templates? So I think that's like super helpful. So I just want to say thank you for joining us all the way from across the ocean. And thanks for spending your afternoon with us and just telling us a little bit about your story. And I'm excited to see you progress and see you hit those goals you mentioned. And I'll be watching out for those also.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. More than welcome. I feel like it was when you asked, it was no brainer. I've got the lifestyle that I wanted now, so it's a small way to say thank you. Giving you a small part of my time just to tell you about the experience. I think, yeah, if anybody wants to ask me any more questions, I think I'm in the No Pants community, so just ask if you want to know from someone that's in there. Feel free. I don't mind answering questions if someone has them, and I can understand that. That's why some people do have a lot of questions, and I'm happy to help someone get on the right path, so to speak.
Oh, that's really gracious of you. Well, James, thank you so much for your time. And I hope you have an awesome, awesome rest of your week. And we look forward to seeing you in the group.
Thank you.